play. Oh, there we go. That's what I get when using different technology. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the 12 o'clock show with Mayor Joe. Joining me today is Reynoldsburg Senior Center Manager Judy Doran. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
It's going to be a great show today. The sun is out, which is a rare thing here in Ohio in December. Usually we've got the gray overcast clouds all over the place. So I've got a couple of good things to talk about. As always, code enforcement. Code enforcement has been hard at work, so I've got a couple of pictures for you. These are some of the fun ones right before all the asphalt factories kind of shut down. Those of you might recognize this area over off Livingston Road. You can see some of that area. The pavement needed to be redone, and probably some of the last pavement that had to be redone in Reynoldsburg due to the weather. So you can see that they did a really good job getting all of that cleaned up, flattening it out, and making sure that it's a lot easier to drive. It gives you a little bit more of a close-up shot. You can see some of the patchwork and the holes and things of that nature that people would drive on. Then you also have some of the other area over here by the Family Dollar that's been cleaned up all the way across. Here's a good one right here. Again, you can kind of tell all the different cracks and everything. Just another way to kind of improve what's going on in the area. So that's a good thing. Some of the behind-the-scenes stuff, you can see some of the retail and commercial businesses right there on this side, probably not looking too good. But at the same time, if you want to go ahead and went ahead and go some repainting and refinishing in there, so that helps out a lot. This is over by Blacklick Plaza. You can see it's kind of rusted out in a few places, maybe a little bit of polite graffiti, not anything tragic, but some polite graffiti. But again, you can see it looks much better now. You see they got the fresh paint job. It's a lot more clear, crisp, and controlled. Again, good things that our code enforcers are doing all the way across. And again, you can actually see right here, this is probably the biggest one, so you actually know what you're going to when it comes to Blacklick Plaza. Again, that's another area that we are working hard to improve upon. And finally, over by one of my wife's favorite restaurants in Reynoldsburg, Pier 11. She loves that. I am also a big fan of the Hush Puppies because fried bread, why not? So you have that up there. And again, some more clear areas of everything that you can see for the asphalt. It's a big improvement. Most of that stuff is going to be done for a while. They will not be able to start that up until the asphalt factories kind of kick back to life in the spring. So for those businesses out there that need to do some work, just be aware, code enforcement will be back out in the spring, so keep that up in mind. We've got a lot of great events going on right now in December, obviously with the holidays coming up. We've got Hanukkah that begins tomorrow night. We also have Christmas not too far away. So we are also working with the big guy up north, Santa Claus. He's actually made some special time in his schedule to come out to our senior center and get some pictures taken, some socially distanced pictures. I believe most of the slots have been taken up, but they're out there for right now, taking care of things. So we've got that going on. Sorry about that. Sometimes people forget to turn their phones off. We also are hoping that if you want to send in some of your Santa letters, that are coming in, you can actually do so by email at reynoldsburgci.gov.oh.us. So you have that opportunity to send it there. So we've got a special email address for Santa Claus. You can also bring them the old-fashioned way, an actual letter, and bring them here to Santa's mailbox at City Hall. You can do that. You need to have that in by the 16th if you want to make sure you get a response from Santa Claus in time. Email might be a little bit later than that, but definitely for the letter, because it's getting pretty close to that time for him to be busy. We also have holiday lights. For those of you that know me, I enjoy my big inflatables, so I have a holiday inflatable out in front of my house. So if you would like to share your holiday lights or those of your neighbors, I know there's a couple of really nice ones in the area that I've driven by at night. Feel free and share them to us here at Reynoldsburg so we can put them on our pages. Just a nice way to kind of celebrate the season. We also have the Truro Township Toy Drive happening, drive-through toy drop-off this Saturday and Sunday from 9 a.m. to 11:30 at the Truro Township Firehouses on Livingston as well as on Main Street. So keep an eye out for those if you would like to. You also have the option to donate money through Amazon, Target, and a few others. So you can actually donate money or even pick out toys that have been requested. So if you can't make it by, there's still an opportunity for you to donate, which is great. It's a great opportunity for the community to kind of give back to those in need. And also, you probably have seen, for some reason or another, there's reindeer everywhere. We had our tree lighting this past Saturday, and a lot of our reindeer just happened to escape. So far, we've had them seen at Bath and Body Works this a couple days ago. They were out there socially distanced waiting in line. Who knows where they're going to show up over the next couple of days, but keep your eyes out there for our reindeer that are out there because Santa needs them all back in time. Mm-hmm. With all of that, we do again have our special guest from the Senior Center. Judy, I really appreciate you coming. I know you're busy. You've got a really cool thing going on next Tuesday. Could you tell everybody what's going on next Tuesday?
Sure. Next Tuesday, we have a lunch drive-through. So we're calling it Heat and Eat because we wanted to do soup. Unfortunately, we cannot do hot soup. So we are making soup in advance. And this is all sponsored by the Inn at Summit Trail here in Reynoldsburg. We're making the soup in advance, and we've been stirring all morning and cooking and dicing, and then we'll freeze it in baggies, and then that will be given out next Tuesday for Heat and Eat.
All right, and I'll be out there as well, dressed warmly. I did ask for as much snow as possible that day because apparently I was told it can only be cold on the days that we give out something for food. So,
or raining.
Yes. Or exceptionally hot. So I think we've hit a couple of those already this year, so it's a great thing to do. So I appreciate you telling everybody about that. Sure. Beyond that, so what brings you and your family joy during COVID? I was asked to keep this as uplifting as possible from one of our longtime viewers, so I'm going to go ahead and make sure that. So what has brought you joy in all of this?
During this time, we have used the park systems just so many times a week. We're over there 3 or 4 times a week, and we're using the Metro Park systems. At lunchtime, I am walking Black Lake Trail, just right outside the office, so we're just constantly in the parks. And I find fresh air just makes me happy. Being amongst the woods makes me happy, so that's what we do a lot of.
We enjoy the walks. Usually, when I would get home, I would get a little bit more comfortable and go into my relaxation tie. And then my wife and I would take our walk and we'd talk about our days and things like that. And it was just a great way to just kind of, let off some steam. So we've actually been going to the YMCA and walking inside because apparently my wife does not like cold weather.
See, I like it.
I'm all for it, but I have a little bit more insulation than my wife, so that's probably what helps out with that. Now, obviously, this has not been the year you expected, with the Senior Center. Obviously, not being able to be open is the biggest challenge, but outside of that, what are the challenges that you found for the Senior Center in general and for all the people that come to the Senior Center on a regular basis? What do you think the biggest challenges have been?
I think our biggest challenge is communication, just staying in contact with the members. We are lucky at the Senior Center. We have various ways to stay in contact. We have the newsletter. All the members get a newsletter. We have the robocalls that are sent out every Monday, so I'm able to call all of the members each week and tell them what's going on during the week. A lot of phone calls, doing a lot of phone calling, and we also have Facebook, so we connect that way. And then I always call everyone on their birthday, so I connect that way. Now, it's kind of a good thing it's created in that we are able to clean out our database. We had a lot of wrong numbers. People are dropping their landlines, so we had a lot of bad numbers. We've picked up good information. We were able to send out letters. Said, hey, we can't contact you anymore. We've been trying to call you. We can't get in touch. So we did a lot of that. So we were mailing things. But communication is the toughest, I think.
Well, I know it was amazing. We have the ability to kind of, with security cameras and things like that, we see what goes on. And I found it, I knew that the Senior Center was popular before I walked into the office, but every now and then when you catch a couple of shots, early on January, February, how busy that location is on a daily basis. It is the most packed place all the time prior to COVID. And we want to get back to that point as soon as possible. We're taking it basically
Fingers
a little bit of time.
crossed.
I mean, for us, it was, we decided not to reopen when we were, averaging around 2,000 cases a day, and now we're pushing close to 7 and 8, and who knows how much more after that. So it's probably going to be a little bit of time, but between hopefully with the vaccine coming and depending on how that goes, and then, with some proper social distancing, people wearing masks, things like that, the goal is to open up as soon as we possibly can when it's safe for our staff, and most importantly when it's safe for the members, because those are the people that are most at risk with this. Sure. And we want to make sure that their safety is there. At the same time, believe me, I feel the pain. I know you and I have sat and talked about it before. That connectivity, the ability to talk for some of our senior citizens, for really any of us, but for our senior citizens as well, that has probably been a difficult thing.
Yes.
Now, I know that there's a couple of things that you guys have done, fun activities that you've done since this. Could you kind of describe a couple of the activities that you've done since COVID has kind of changed plans a little bit?
Sure. So we mentioned the drive-through lunch, and we've done that a couple times with different vendors. Wesley has been really great in providing lunches for our folks. We have a library of books, and we have a library of puzzles. We had a drive-through, so we figured why not get those in the members' hands. So we did that, and each week we have Zoom classes going on. So that has been a bit of a challenge, but we found out we can do this. We can do Zoom. Who knew we could all do Zoom? So we have exercise classes going on all the time. Pretty much every day there's an exercise class. And then we have things like our Berg Bookies, which is our book club.
Okay, I was really worried there for a second.
I know, Berg Bookies. So that has not skipped a beat. We've just kept going, and we do those over Zoom. And those kind of things are helping. Those Zoom or even the drive-through lunches or the pick-up puzzles, those have really helped people stay connected. So they get to see their friends, and it's not the same, but it's the best we can do right now. So we've had things like that, and just, special events, and, yeah.
Now, what's really cool is we can't use them yet, but you've gotten a couple of new vehicles out there for the senior center as well.
Yes.
And they've got nicknames, I've been told, right?
Yes. So we have our new bus, and in our drive-through events, we've had showings. So Scooter has shown up. And I think we're going with Little Scooter.
Little Scooter.
We've got Scooter, which is the big bus, and it's beautiful. And then we have Little Scooter, which is the van. Yes. And so all of you are going to love this. They're comfortable. They actually have safety belts, so we can be safe while we're driving. And
cushion seats for those longer trips. Yes.
Yes, you can actually. And I don't know if you knew the old van. The old van, you had to crawl through and over people to get to the back seats. You don't have to do that anymore. It's like an aisle you can walk down.
So I'm looking forward to the first time that that when we're kind of saying the bon voyage for the first trip with that one. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So.
Can we use champagne?
We'll figure something out. Yeah, we'll come up with something. Kind of kick things off. Well, I really appreciate it. You're making the best of a unique situation.
Yes.
And I know that the seniors, they absolutely love you. They adore you.
Oh, that's nice.
I've had the opportunity to sit out and help kind of distribute some of the lunches the last couple of times, and it's just. The looks on their faces when they see you, and what impresses me, and this is just part of the old teacher in me, these aren't fake nameless people. These are people that you know their names, you know their stories, and the staff that you have that works with you are absolutely hilarious and priceless.
Aren't they wonderful?
Yes, they are. And
we love Della and Lydia.
Yes, and they are very demanding when they need people to get moving, which is great. That is absolutely great.
Move your car.
Yep, but it's a great team you have out there, and hopefully sooner rather than later, everybody will be back to kind of the way things used to be, and some more activities and all of that.
Yes, we're hoping so.
Well,
now, before we change, can I talk about our next?
Oh yes, of course. Yeah, I completely forgot. Yes.
So, beginning in January, we are going to be celebrating our 50th anniversary. So, 50 years ago in January, a group of concerned citizens thought that we needed a senior center in Reynoldsburg. So they got together, they put some board members together, officers, and they created this wonderful group that we're still calling SCORE, Senior Citizens of Reynoldsburg. And So we're going to be celebrating. I'm not sure how we're going to be celebrating yet, but I keep saying when we get back together, it is going to be big. So, but we don't know when that is yet. So, but when we do, it's going to be big.
Well, it's really interesting. I got to see a picture of the original board members that you showed me, and then I saw, of course, the incredibly hefty price for membership at the time, which was $2.
Yeah.
So again, a little bit different, value of money at that point in time.
Yes.
But no, I'm looking forward to that. That's a great
Yes.
accomplishment,
Yes.
and it's such a great service. I know when I was out in the community a year ago and talking with people, the senior center would come up and they would talk about, don't get rid of that. We love that, and
It wasn't ever a thought?
no, it was never a thought. But apparently, there's some that think that there's always something out there with it. But no, I was very much dedicated to keeping and providing as many services. I know we've done a couple of upgrades that we can't even show off because of the fact that we haven't had the opportunity yet. But
Yes. The new logo. We have the new logo in there. Yeah.
so it's gonna be really nice. Well, do we have any questions so far?
Not at this time.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead. As always, if you had other things to do, I know you've got a lot of soup to make.
I'm cooking soup.
But we'll go ahead and kind of go through just with a couple of things. Obviously, I did talk to the superintendent of Reynoldsburg City Schools last night about athletics in general and specifically our Parks and Recs program. As of right now, we are hopeful that we're going to still go on as planned with everything coming up in January. I know we've got the registrations. I do not know if we need coaches still. I'm going to bet yes. But I will double check with our Parks and Rec director, Donna Bauman, and figure out if we still need coaches. But as of right now, our Parks and Rec basketball leagues are still going to move forward. I also want to talk a little bit about water rates. Big topic at council on Monday. It was a good discussion. Basically, just kind of give you an idea, the water rates, we get our water from the city of Columbus. And because of that, when Columbus raises their rates, we have to raise our rates to match. And I think most people were understanding of that. The question then becomes, what happens when Reynoldsburg raises rates on top of that aspect of things? The lowest rate that has been raised, or the lowest amount that has been raised over the last probably 15 to 20 years has actually been about 1%. There were 2 years that were 0%. But this last time on Monday, council asked for a 1% increase on the water rates. And there was a good debate, and obviously a lot of concerned citizens are out there talking about it. And council decided to go ahead and cut that rate in half. So instead of a 1% increase, it'll be a 0.5% increase. Now, let's put that in some real dollars and numbers. I've spent a lot of time this week learning about water, more than I probably would have imagined to get this in-depth into it. So basically, the average person in Reynoldsburg uses approximately 5,000 gallons of water per cycle.
Is that a month?
That's for 3 months.
3 months.
All right, so about 5,000 gallons per person. And so for every 1,000 gallons of water, the new price on that is going to be $8.57 for every 1,000 gallons of water that you're going to do. It is a 21-cent increase over what the rates were prior to the increase, and that includes the Columbus increase as well. Sewer rates are going to increase at 51 cents, so that brings the total cost to $8.92. So the idea is that if you have your 5,000 gallons and you have 4 people in your house and then you do all the math and it comes out to that, it's going to give you a particular rate. So that's kind of where the numbers come from and all of that. So again, I did learn that kind of the average household is about 20,000 gallons, and that's for a house of 4. If it's 2 people in a house, it's a little bit less. If it's more than that, if you have teenage boys like I do, you may not be using near as much water as you should. And I've heard that if you have teenage girls, you may be using more water than that. So it just kind of depends on who's in your home. So that's part of the other thing. One issue also that comes up constantly is to remember that these bills are kind of after the fact. So you're getting billed for things that happened X amount of months ago. So in the most recent billing cycle that came in November, you're getting billed for August, September, and October. And so when you're getting billed for those months, maybe there's some watering of your grass, maybe you're washing your cars, things like that, that might be an issue. And then obviously COVID has kind of skewed everything this year because of what's there. So I've got a couple of water hints for everybody out there, things that I didn't know about until I started really kind of investigating this. I don't know. When I brush my teeth, I usually, I take the brush, I wet the brush up, and then I brush my teeth. And sometimes I leave the water on, sometimes I don't. But if you leave your water on, You could actually, if you're brushing your teeth the way that you're supposed to, not just like, and then you're done. If you actually brush your teeth the way you're supposed to, you're looking at probably about 3 minutes worth of brushing your teeth. And if you have that water going at full blast, you're looking at probably 3 gallons of water just in that short 3-minute span of brushing your teeth. Now, let's say you do it the way you're supposed to be doing it, which is, once in the beginning of the day, once at the end of the day, and then maybe, especially now that people are home during the days, maybe they're brushing their teeth after lunch. You're looking at a lot of gallons of water just in that particular thing. The other one, which is also kind of interesting, is shaving. That for me, it's one of those things, if you have the water running, again, it's the same thing. Do you shave while the water's running, or do you kind of let it kind of get a little pool in there? But that's another way that you can kind of monitor how much water you're using. So those are a couple of tips. We are going to try and increase our tips to everyone out there in our water bills, as well as on our Reynoldsburg Connects, which hopefully you're all registered for. If you're not, please go to our webpage and scroll down to the very bottom of the page, and you can register for Reynoldsburg Connects. We're getting ready for our big next posting, which will be in just a few days. So just throwing that out there. But it'll have some other hints as well about how you can monitor things. We had a resident that had called in, and one of the suggestions was to find out if you have a leaky toilet. And so you take some food dye or some test strips that we actually have here in the building, that if you wanted to get them, you can. And she found out that she didn't have a leaky toilet, but what she found is she had kind of like a slow running toilet, something where she couldn't hear that the water was moving, but it was. And that actually impacted how much is there, because again, that's going on a consistent basis all the time. So she adjusted whatever technological things that I have no idea about. I'm not a plumber. I tried one time and I stopped before I broke something. But she adjusted the valve, and then it made things, then it stopped. And so those are just some small things that you can do. Now, obviously, there may be other things that are out there that are affecting it. But regardless of any of those things, please give us a call. If you're able to call us here at the Water Department here at City Hall, we'll be able to figure something out. We'll be able to work with you to figure out if it's a monthly payment schedule that we need to work on, if it's something that you're concerned because you were using 10,000 gallons during your last cycle and now it's 30,000 gallons this cycle and no one's come to your home. That may obviously mean that you have a leak. We are also in the process of updating our systems to have basically a radar ping system. So instead of a water reader coming to your house and kind of walking by and getting the meters that way, it'll actually be a radar driven thing, so they can just ping it and find out what your water usage is. And that should help us, one, bill on a monthly basis, because we'll be able to do it significantly quicker. But if all of a sudden we notice that your water line is going like this and then there's a huge spike and nothing's going on, that could lead to a potential for a leak, and we'll be able to identify those things a lot faster as well. I hope to have that. We were going to probably get a majority of that done this year, but it's hard to get into people's houses with COVID and things of that nature. So hopefully we'll have that taken care of for next year. Now, I'm pretty sure there's any questions on this one.
Not right now.
Not right now. All right. Well, if you do have questions, again, always feel free and shoot me an email, give me a phone call. Feel free and set an appointment to come in and talk to me. My door is always open. I always want to be able to talk to people. I do try and monitor social media as best as I can, and if maybe I don't necessarily respond all the time, but I'm at least aware of it, and I try and investigate things on the other end, because a lot of times we at the city, and this probably will go even for the senior center, we don't know what the problem is unless somebody tells us what the problem is. And if we don't know it, we can't necessarily be proactive and fix something. So that's what we're really trying to work on, especially as we move into next year, as we kind of get back to again, I'm going with the whole COVID-free lifestyle here, hopefully not too much longer, to try and solve some of those issues and find answers to those questions that are out there. So those are all the things for the water rates that I have. Any questions?
Nope.
All right, so our next guest next week is going to be the Superintendent, Melvin Brown from Reynoldsburg City Schools. He is going to come on over, and I'm sure we're going to have some fun things to talk about as we get wind down the first part of the year. So I'm looking forward to having the superintendent over. But in the meantime, Judy, I cannot appreciate how much you and your staff mean to the city and to the community. We're very appreciative of everything we do, and we want to get you back to work as full-fledged as possible.
Working.
Yes. Oh, yeah. You have, but in a different way.
Yes.
Meanwhile, for everybody else out there, please enjoy the sunshine while you can. Make sure you're safe. Wear your mask as much as possible, because it does help. Stay safe, respectful, and again, especially during this holiday season when you're out, please make sure you put your shopping carts away. They don't need to be out. It doesn't take that long especially for a few people that I know that legitimately put them right next to the cart wrangle on the curb. You can put it 5 feet. It's not that big of a deal. So I do appreciate it. Thank you so much for everybody. And again, I look forward to seeing you next week. We'll see you.
Happy holidays.